It felt as though my puzzle piece spirit finally fit when I found out just exactly how I was meant to be loved. Strung up from the chapel rafters in silk. Once upon a time, it would have taken tens of thousands of hostage spiders to make one outfit of lingerie. Captured on their backs and forced to give and give their silk, as their stick-thin legs plucked the air in vain while creating an intricate web for a woman's body. Women were always meant to be the intricate ones. Men were meant to be cast into a bulky chrysalis instead. At least I think I was. It would take just one woman to instill me in her ultimate cocoon of love. It would take just one woman to love me the way I was meant to be loved, so much more fervently and intensely than any kind of love. I met Audaxia Salt in one of New Hampshire's many Dollar General stores. She was stocking the shelves while I was out to get cough drops for my grandmother, who I lived with. "Are you sick?" she asked me when I withdrew a pack of honey-flavored cough drops. I shook my head. She was in the black Dollar General uniform with the green name tag, Audaxia. She had a natural tan, skin somewhere between the colors brown and pink, and her hair was brown with a little bit of 70s style wildness in it. Her eyes were some kind of brown and seemed to only be able to glow in sunlight, not Dollar General light, and still they pierced me. I was injected immediately with the venom of her gaze, and it stalled me right there in the aisle. She smelled a little like cigarettes, of course, but some kind of key lime soap too. "Honey cough drops," I moped. She kind of smiled. "I know," she rasped, sounding as though she realized something. She got to talking about how cheap the cough drops were and how they didn't taste like honey at all. She steered me to Hall's brand, saying that those would have cured my grandmother's sore throat quicker, and I got those instead. This is when we traded names, she blaming her parents on her over-eccentric name. "Don't worry, I'm not some Greek goddess," she assured me, but did not disclose what she really was, how she looked at me, how I must have looked at her. "You have freckles," I blurted. She smiled again. See, up until meeting Audaxia Salt, I had been too guarded, too unreachable to women for fear of being loved incorrectly. This fear stemmed from the cliché bad relationship almost everybody has at least once in their lives, but it had left me with this aversion. I had rejected many good women until I met Audaxia Salt, and I think it was my history which made me meek and hesitant before her. What a shame it would have been to reject her at all. Perhaps within her gaze is where my fear transformed into something profound. Emerged the moths within me, fluttering around my lantern heart. She lived a 10-minute walk from the Dollar General. I started walking her home. The tall pine trees, our chaperones. It was during one of our walks that she noticed a scratch on my finger and stopped to kiss it. She latched her hands around my wrist and raised my hand to her lips. I had already washed and sprayed it with antiseptic spray when my grandmother's cat had swatted at me. But Odaxia's kiss was the final remedy. Her bottom lip stamped the scratch. It didn't sting at all. It had been the most intimate thing I had experienced in years. I was a little taken aback, and my mouth was agape. She was a master of steadiness, the master of my awe. Her favorite color was yellow. She loved dark chocolate. She liked crock-pot meals. She was a night owl, and her sleep schedule was always off balance. Yet, she somehow always managed to operate on just a few hours of sleep. She took naps, during which I would babysit the crock-pot in her little house. I went over and shoveled around her house in the winter. She bought a yellow shower curtain. One night we danced in her kitchen to music, and she moved freely. We were unconsummated characters to each other. Were we reluctant to initiate intimacy for similar reasons? Long before Odaxia, I must have convinced myself that no one could love me enough to do so. And this was one of my reasons for shunning dates, relationships, and anything that could lead to love. I couldn't imagine somebody matching passions with me. For how I had been so mistreated before, I had become convinced I was not designed to be loved at all. And that act which binds the souls became something alien to me. I was a whole different species, incapable of mating with anyone. But I didn't know why Odaxia also refrained from intimate advances. We cuddled, we kissed. I held her when we slept. She was safe on my chest. Perhaps she was matching my hesitance, my shyness, my inability to initiate anything. But also, we weren't in any rush at all. There was not an ounce of pressure pushing down on us when we were cuddled while it snowed, while black bears passed outside before passing into torpor. We shoveled together, but would abandon our shovels in a sudden snowball fight. She shrieked and laughed. I picked her up, and we twirled in the literal winter wonderland amongst the pine tree wedding guests, even nature knowing what is meant to happen on a wedding night. I finally mentioned the obvious one night on a covered bridge above the Seiko River in springtime when the moon was full and as callous as an elephant's foot with craters. It was cool, but not like winter nights. There were still jagged things of ice below us as we sat on the edge of the covered bridge, and the moon came down and tried pulling all the green colors of the pines into the slushy river. I guess you've noticed my lack of, my voice trailed off. Yes, it's okay, she said, little raspy voice fitting the night. But I love you. There's no rush, no worry. She was brushing my cheek with the outsides of her fingers. Then she kind of laughed. I just figured you were one of those wait until marriage types. I shrugged. I don't even know if I am. She was smiling gently at me. The truth is, I said, I've been afraid for a long time. What scares you? Getting that close, that private, it scares me, 'cause I want to be done if it is for something that will last forever. If someone loves me as deeply and as intensely as I loved them, you know, like a life or death kind of love. She spoke while giving me her Dollar General gaze. I could drink you. Then she shook her head very subtly and said, I don't even think that would be enough. I looked at her. I don't think that is intense enough for us, she said, and I felt my heart become so relieved. A sigh came down within my body, like a slowly crashing zeppelin. Audaxia, what would be enough? I asked, desperately, 'cause anyone could do that. Anyone could do that and leave, or do it with another person. Or I started rambling, years of pent-up anxiety gushing out, and all she did was apply her calming smile to me. I rambled, and she let me do so. She was certain. She was confident in us. I love you, she said, and she said my name. She put her hand on my thigh, and I noticed how her fingers seemed to stretch out and relax. What sedative fervor was inside her gaze. I love you too, I said. So let's do it, she said, nails hungry on my thigh. My fear was no more. Her face seemed so alive in the moonlight. We sat up on the church rafters on the night of our arachnid-style wedding. Our once-in-a-lifetime ritual. She said her vows, and I said my final words. The acoustics took the sound of our moving lips and made it bigger. Soft, small sounds that could have filled the empty purple universe. She took my face and pouted at how innocent I was. And then her kiss became voracious and demanding, and I was so in love with her that I wanted to unbuckle my soul from all the ligaments and joints of my body to let it be vacuumed into her kiss. My lips could not keep up because of how we pushed and pulled. We almost fell off the rafters, but we didn't. She wouldn't let me touch the floor at all that night. I became hypnotic and obedient. All our clothes dropped down. She guided me down. I won't let you fall, she promised. I was hanging upside down by my feet. High above empty pews, while smoky moonlight filled the open space. Her silk felt delicate when it touched my ankle. It was damp, warm, and felt weak, but string after string came as we kissed upside down. As we squirmed upside down, in a hurry to beat the blood rushing to our heads. Oh, how I wanted her to end up wrapped with me, compressed against my chest. But she slipped out of the cocoon once it reached my waist. We finished, and holding onto my torso, she slid down a little, where the last thing I ever did was for her. I won't describe the noises we made, which could only be compared to soft hushes of a brook. Rushing, soft murmuring things. The tensing and untensing, my suspension. And then, satisfied, she came down and gave me her kiss, the one which would convert my whole biological makeup, break down everything within me, turn my spirit into a smoothie for her to drink. feeling consciousness melting into peaceful sleep. I felt myself leaving myself into her, so connected. I could feel myself leaking into her veins expanding and filling with me. And is this not the most pragmatic image of love? Me, suspended and shriveled until my skin is wrinkled on my skeleton, while she clings to my silk-ridden husk, satiated and full, belly pumping, aorta making large gulps as she clings to me, as her kisses on my neck seek for further entry point to suck out the spirit and love I have remaining. I receive the love of a lifetime, and nothing is needed after that. She receives vital nutrients to her spirit, going unsatiated and knowing no one has ever loved her more. She consumes my spirit, and my spirit rushes to her, disbands in her, becomes a quiet part of her, and has a little healthy relationship weight gain. I like to imagine Odaxia slouching against the chapel, looking up to the moon with the greatest and most exhausted look of satisfaction ever.